Welcome to the Industry Insider, brought to you by PromoCorner. Each week, promotional product professionals Meg Erber, Jeff Franklin, and Stephen McFadden, along with special guests, will discuss industry news, trends, and events with a focus on educating the promotional products industry. The Industry Insider, the nerdy news you need to know.
Hey, welcome to another edition of the Industry Insider, your promotional products podcast where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin, the National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA. I'm joined today by three other lovely folks, but of course, before we get to them, we're going to talk to you about our good friends over at Tervis. They've been around since 1946, and they're celebrating 75 years, and they started business with their classic line, which is awesome. Sleek styles make perfect for the active and on-the-go lifestyle. Tervis, the original double-wall insulated drinkware that keeps your cold drinks cold and reduces that condensation. Backed by a made-for-life guarantee, Tervis, the original customizable double-wall insulated drinkware that keeps your hot drinks hot and your cold drinks cold. They're available in several sizes as well, including a 16-ounce mug, a 16 or 24-ounce tumbler, and a 24-ounce water bottle. Made from Triton plastic, made in America, lifetime warranty, dishwasher, and microwave safe, and they're BPA-free. So go check them out at tervispromos.com. Tell them the Industry Insider sent you. Why don't we say hi to Meg Erber?
Hey, everybody.
How did what's his face call? What did he call you, Stephen? What was his
Erber.
Meg the Terminator Erber.
I'm really excited because tonight is the PPEF Live concert series at 4:45 p.m. Stephen and I are on that committee as well. So we're super excited about that. And if you guys don't know about it, you can check it out on Facebook. There is an event, but I just wanted to give that big shout out to that because, again, a lot of work has been put into that, and it's all going to be for the scholarships. So check it out, register, and donate.
Hashtag shred for scholarships.
Yeah, shred.
There you go.
Sounds good.
Well, that other voice was our normal sit-in partner, Stephen McFadden. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Just about got thrown against the wall there when I got shifted.
Yeah, I like to keep things fresh and keep you on your toes. So I had to throw you against the other side of the wall there.
You did it. Yeah, doing great, man. We got some travel lined up, some more travel, and it feels like a normal month of pre everything. So
yeah,
very good, man. Glad to hear it. Well, June 8th, we've got our good friend John Morris on. Very excited to have you, a very special guest. And, John, it is customary for us to have our special guest give a good 3 to 4 minute introduction of yourself, maybe how you got started in the promotional products industry and what the hell you've been up to since. So take it away, sir.
Right on. Thanks so much for having me on the show. First off, I appreciate it. Interestingly enough, I feel like I was sent here by some universal higher power. I have no idea how in the world that happened, but I came from consulting and investment banking, right? And so talk about completely different types of industries. But I had been seeing this number 1018, which happens to be my birthday. I kept seeing it, right? So it only happens 2 times a day on the clock, but I would see it once or twice every time. Every day I'd look at the clock. For some reason, it'd be 1018, right? So I came in for a 9 o'clock interview. I've been struggling to figure out where I want to go in life. And I was kind of in an interesting situation. Next thing I know, I walk out of the interview and I turn on my car and what time is it? 10:18. So I looked up to the sky and I said, okay, I get what you're saying. I'm supposed to be here, right? And it's just been an absolute magical mystery tour, if you will. Started here in November of 2016 and have been learning the industry and trying to add my value and benefit, which I think is more than anything, bringing kind of an advisor type of approach to a commodity. Because I came from consulting and investment banking, although you're selling outcomes, right? You're selling a lot of advisement, and you're breaking down why somebody isn't getting the outcome that they would like. What are the steps they need to take in order to get to that point? And then you're advising them to get there and you're doing the implementation and so on. Well, we wanted to go from distribution to decoration to more of an agency type of a feel, where rather than saying to a client, hey, look, how many do you need and when do you need them? Instead saying, why do you need them? Like, what is the outcome that you're looking to achieve? So that was a major focus when I started with a company 4.5 years ago in the sales. I started as sales manager. Within a year and a half, I was promoted to director of sales. And then October of last year, I was moved to executive director of brand. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we came to the realization going through COVID that we needed to become a media company, right? We didn't want to create content as an organization. We wanted to become a media company. So if we're controlling the messaging and we're controlling the brand awareness and we're creating massive amounts of attention, which is what our intent is to do, then we feel like we're going to create more lead generation and we're going to simplify the process. What's been really cool is in getting on Zoom calls with potential clients or even going to speak at engagements, folks are now saying, I feel like I know you. And I've never met them before, right? So you probably have that feeling because you host this podcast. By the way, one of the most challenging things to do in sales is to break ice, right? They know you're trying to sell them. They know that. Yeah. So they naturally have a defense mechanism put up. We all do this, right? It's like when you go into the mall, you walk into the mall and you know you were going to buy a suit and you walk into the store and the person says, can I help you? And you're like, no, I don't need help. Yes, you did. You need help. You need help. But we put up this defense mechanism. So by doing all this social media content creation, hosting the podcast and creating all this, this noise, if you will, what's ended up happening is it's increased not only the lead generation, but it's sped up the sales cycle, because now what it took us 5 calls to do, we can do in 4, we can do in 3, because we can get right to solution, right to what is it that you desire, instead of having to explain who we are, what we do, and our why, right? The why is out there in the universe. So that has been my mission for Club Colors. It went from sales manager, director of sales, to a dog barking, and then to executive director of brand, which has been creating as much attention for Club Colors as possible. We feel like it's time for us to be a household name. So that's what we're going to do.
That's awesome. So, John, let me ask you, is it a Libra thing, the whole 10/18? Because I swear my birthday is 10/13, and I see that on the clock like every single day.
Maybe it is.
I will look
at
the clock randomly, and I see 10/13 on the clock all the time.
It's called something, John. I'm really into that stuff too, actually. So, sorry.
To the Biter Mainhoffs?
UPS. Take the Nespressos. He's just standing there. Okay, that's awkward.
Is it the Biter Mainhoff thing?
Just
where
standing
once
there.
You see it, you recognize it?
Super awkward. Anyway.
I'm not sure what it was, but what was really interesting is I was in a really tough spot in life, in that I walked away from a high salary with no plan. And that I did that because my moral compass was constantly at a battle with what the direction of that organization was going and the way that they kind of operated. It was a really, really highly intense environment. I learned a ton. I wouldn't be who I am now if I hadn't gone through that process, but it was pretty painful. And I walked away from it with no plan because my mental health was just starting to get awful. And at that point, you start really searching for messages, right? You start looking for anything. So I had like an 8-month period where the world kicked my rear end, because I had this resume where I thought I was number one and this and that. But when you're number one at a company that doesn't have a great reputation, that doesn't turn out well. And by the way, they don't throw big 6-figure salaries around, right? So in many cases in sales, when you walk into a new sales department in a new industry, you're almost starting over. So getting that executive level sales role was fairly difficult for me. So I was out of work for quite a while. And then finally, I just needed a win. I accepted a job at another place, and I was in the orientation when Club Colors called me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what I was saying was, firm believer of signs and everything. And just a quick story, and I want to hear more about why we connected and everything. But, when my brother passed away a couple of years ago, and he died of alcoholism, and it was very sad, very, very sad. So you always, after someone like that passes, you live with so much guilt, right? Like what could I have done better? I could have done this, I could have done that. But at the end of the day, they are responsible for themselves. But I still struggled with it. And I heard some people talking about this book at yoga, and I kept hearing it over and over again. I'm like, all right, the universe is trying to tell me to listen or read to this book. So I downloaded it on Audible. It was called Signs by Laura Lynn Jackson. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. I literally tell everybody about this who is grieving or wants to. I was so skeptical about it when I first listened to it, and I was like, oh, but it actually changed my life. And right before we started recording, actually, Stephen had that shirt on, and I said, I really love that. It's like, so I have a steer head, and that's the sign actually that my brother sends me. I know that's kind of weird, but
cool.
so yeah, so it's kind
Not
of
weird. It's not weird if you believe it.
It's no, it's not. I mean, but it sounds, when people don't believe it or don't understand it, it's like, oh, very kooky, but like you really, I recommend that book for anyone that's like looking for answers or just needs some, I don't know, I'm getting all shaky inside. But
Maybe
anyway,
if you're listening, maybe your sign is that Meg just told you to read the book Signs.
I should get a commission off this. I think I tell everybody about this book. But that kind of brings me to how we got introduced. First of all, I've known of Club Colors forever. They're a very big, distributor in this industry. You guys do a great job, but I don't even know if we were friends or whatever, but your podcast or you had posted a very personal story on LinkedIn, and it grabbed me. First off, you have this energy about you that just radiates. It really does. And not everybody has that it factor. And like you said, you've only been in this promotional product industry a couple of years. It looks like you've been doing this for forever. It looks like that you just, embraced it, and you're not jaded by it. And I was like, wow. And then I started listening to your story, and your story really resonated with me. And I don't know if you want to talk about a little bit that and how and why you were very comfortable telling that story. And I feel like it's a big part of being accountable too, is putting that story out there so you can.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah. So first off, thank you for your kind words. You made an old man feel nice. I appreciate that. So I started messing around with LinkedIn and trying to figure out the algorithm, which, by the way, if anyone knows how to figure out the algorithm, please send me a note. But I think I've got it kind of figured out, right?
I think so. You're doing great. You're doing great.
But I started understanding that the content creation that you provide, if it is all commodity-based promotion, and if you're selling constantly, eventually you start to sound like Charlie Brown's teacher, and it turns people off, right? People tend to go onto a social platform because they're looking for something. And most of the time when somebody's looking for something, it starts with their heart, right? They're starting with that heart. They need something to pick them up. They need commonality. They need somebody that is in a leadership position to say it's okay. They need somebody that they believe in or trust or are inspired by their thought leadership to be raw and emotional and vulnerable and just to open up and communicate. That's what connects. The more commoditized your industry is, the more you have to humanize your brand and your content creation. So for instance, Jeff, you've got a bunch of hats back there, right? Yep. I'm looking at the hats, but I'm not looking at the hats as much as I'm looking at you wearing the hat and how that might make you feel, right? Yep. The hats are cool, but it's more, where'd you get the hat? Why does that hat mean something to you? And how does that make you feel, right? You're rocking that hat, man. It got that leather patch going, right? So, oh yeah. But there might be a backstory to that. So I started to recognize really quick that it's never the picture, it's the backstory to it, right? And so I developed a cadence in content creation. And if you're going to get people to pay attention to your organization and your products and services, first, they've got to be inspired by you. Second, they've got to want to engage with you, and then they'll embrace and accept the influence, right? So it's inspire, engage, influence. And that is the cadence that I utilize for content creation. Now, what does inspire mean? Does inspire mean if I tell you that every day I win? That's all I do. I win every day. Forget it. Then you're not human. I got no interest in that. Like, you're just an egomaniac. I'm tuning you out.
Narcissist, yep.
Forget it. Bye. Forget it. You lost me. Right? What? The reason that we like Rocky, right? The movie Rocky, isn't because he's right. It's not because he's Rocco, right? It's because he came from nothing. It's because he went through hell. It's because he was poor. It's because he battled. It's because he was afraid. It was because he had to overcome. right? That is what makes you want to run behind him in Philadelphia to get to the statue. That's what makes you want to cheer for Rocky. That's what endears you to Rocky. It's not the wins, it's the flaws he had to overcome to get to the wins. I could go, how many stories you want me to tell you about that? What's the Notre Dame movie? The kid, was this Rudy, right? I mean, how many stories are there out there? Okay,
Yeah.
so guess what? That's not because Hollywood's got it right. That's because humans have it right. Humans get it. We get it. We want the person that's been overlooked, that's been the smallest kid on the team, or the person that battles. We want them to win, right? So I started to recognize that I'm posting commodity stuff. Nobody's saying anything. Really cool decoration, right? Man, check out this embroidery machine, right? It's really, nobody's saying anything. And then all of a sudden I made this life choice, and I know that it was a really good life choice because 3 hours later, we got a phone call that my mother-in-law had a massive stroke. So since I was a child, I've had massive depressive anxiety disorder. So I'm very influential. In case you didn't know, I'm very persuasive. Guess who I'm most persuasive to? Me.
Yourself.
Me. Man, I can tell myself some stuff. And if that stuff is really positive, I can do that stuff. But sometimes that mind shifts and goes the wrong way. And I can tell myself to do some really bad stuff too. And I could just feed that beast and pound it down and pound it down and pound it down and just wear it. And I can destroy myself as fast as I can build up 10 people. It's just been in me. I can't do anything about it. I wear it. I own it. It's a chemical thing. I was born this way. This is what it is. Mom and dad didn't do anything to me. Nobody bullied, nobody did. The world didn't do this to me. This is DNA. So guess what doesn't match with that chemical, right? A depressive. What's a depressive? Alcohol. So I never had an alcohol issue. What I had was a sick of being depressed and having an anxiety issue. I was just flat out sick of it. And guess what? The only way to stop that was I had to make a major change. So I said, okay, this funny guy, this hyper energetic guy that is at every party, and I think people just invite me to the party because I'm just going to do something goofy at the party, and then I'll have too many drinks, then I do something even stupider, and then the next morning I'm crying in the bathroom that I embarrassed myself, and everybody else is going, that was hysterical. I'm like, that wasn't hysterical. I made a fool out of myself. So I wanted to strip myself of that part, but moreover, I wanted to feel every emotion completely. And I wanted to live out what I believe is my potential. So I was in a constant fight with my present and my potential. My potential was saying, what the hell are you doing? And was beating on my present. And my present was saying, this is awful. This is awful. What are you doing? What are you doing? Thank God my potential won. So I decided that I was going to become sober 69 days today. So as of whenever this is airing, it'll be whatever, 80 something. Who knows?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Whatever it is, feeling fresh, baby. But 3 hours after I made that decision, with quite honestly a little bit of a talking to from the love of my life, who we just celebrated 19 years of marriage, but she's a little tough Belgian Hungarian woman, and she laid into me, and this time, but she did it different this time. She said, "You are absolutely brilliant, and you're wasting it." Any other time that I just got a knot in my throat. Any other time that she had said that to me, that she had said, "Hey, look, you got to get control. You got to get control." Whatever. It was always that I was messing up, right? This time it was, "You're absolutely brilliant, and you're wasting it. How much more brilliant could you be?" And when she said that to me, that's all I heard. I didn't hear the other part. So at that point, I went, "I'm not doing it for you. I'm going to do it for me because I need to live out that brilliance. I need to live out that brilliance, and you will indirectly benefit from that brilliance." 3 hours later, her mom has a massive stroke. And we had a week later, her father-in-law moves in to our house. Her mom is in a home now. Everything changed. We had to move out to their apartment. We had to completely change everything. And guess what? I would have gone haywire. I would have gone haywire had I not made that decision. So something told me it was time. And I heard it. I heard it.
When was it?
It was time. The sign came. Okay. So to your point, what post did you see? I started posting about that. So I
Yeah.
sat down on a Sunday morning. Now, this is the beauty of Club Colors, okay? This is not my vision, right? Club Colors is not my vision. It's Chris Tossi and Jeff Balmay's vision. Chris Tossi and Jeff Balmay are fantastic human beings. They're absolutely brilliant at what they do, but they don't want to be out. They don't want to do this.
No.
They don't want to be out front.
A lot of people don't.
They just don't.
Yeah.
So my conversations with them are, what do you want the story to be? What do you want the mission to be? So I carry out the mission of Club Colors on their behalf. So I'm not the president, right? I'm not the president. I'm a general. They give me the message, I carry it out, right? But they also allow me to have a personal brand and be authentic, because they understand that I have to get my truth out in order for me to completely progress as a human being, which in turn provides benefit to the organization. They allow me to be me and to tell my story. Now there's certain boundaries, right? That we're not going to get too in depth with some crazy stuff, right? But they allow me to say, this is the journey I'm on and this is where I'm going. And what totally blasted it for me was that post on a Sunday morning. I wrote the post that I'm like 1 week sober or whatever. I wrote the post. I read it about 8 times and I said, this is either going to blow up or I'm going to get blown up, right? And instead, what I got was so much love and support and validation. And then all of a sudden, guess what? People started, I got like 25,000 views to that post. And on top of that, people started sending me DMs. I'm a CEO of this company, and I'm 32 years. I got literally within 3 days, I got like 150 DMs from CEOs, presidents, VPs, account managers, secretaries, administrative assistants, you name it, saying, I'm sober X amount of days. I'm sober. Thank you for posting that. That made me feel good. Guess what they all did? They all went to the Club Colors page. They all dug deeper into my profile. They all tuned in the club, because now they went, who is this dude, right? And guess what? I've been very careful with that because I don't want to exploit my personal journey, but I have to let you in to who I am to inspire a little bit so that you'll engage. And once you engage, then I can connect. And once we're connected, then I can drip a little influence on you. And it's turned into revenue from that. And that wasn't my intent. My intent was not that. My honest to God intent was, I have a fear of letting other people down.
Yeah. And I think that comes with, I everything that you said, it's like, it completely resonates. And that one fear, I think that's my biggest fear, is letting people down. You know, I have a hard time saying no to people because I'm like, I want to help. I want to fix. I want to whatever. But so I get that. And I love everything that you're saying. That's what social media does. I mean, it can be really bad or it can be really good if you embrace it and you use it to let people know that you're a human. And I've always said that, you know, it really humanizes us. Otherwise, you're just an order taker, and that's how you're going to be treated.
We want to be order makers, right? And so my wife was really upset about the post, to be honest with you. She's like, why do you do this? Why do you have to tell everyone? Why are you doing this? And I said, honey, here's the reality. I can let myself down, but if I've got 8,000 people that follow me and that are giving me this much love and support, I can't let them down now. So now I'm super accountable, because I can't put all that post out and everyone's following and saying, this is outstanding. And then all of a sudden, you know, I'm back to it. So this is a permanent, I'm saying it now on a podcast. So now I'm really accountable. This is a permanent lifestyle change. And guess what? Everything's up to the right.
Love it.
Oh, yeah. Now, I think it's awesome that you brought up Rocky a little while ago, too, because very early on when you were talking about like getting the crap kicked out of you for like several years, I can't remember exactly what that part of your story was, but that Rocky is what popped into my head, you know, and that last Rocky movie where, you know, it's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep going. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought about when you said that. So I think it was incredible that you brought that up, you know, as part of the story later down the road, too. So very cool, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that was you know, I worked in an environment where at one point at 23 years old, so I went from stand-up comedy at 21, 22. I was at Second City in Chicago, really bad at it. And then I needed like a day job, right? So I talked to a buddy of mine that I went to college with, and he's like, yeah, my older brother's at this consulting firm. He's just making bank, right? So next thing you know, I'm asking my older brother if I can borrow a tie, and going for the interview. I get hired. It's straight commission sales. They put you on a phone. They give you a stack of leads, right? And the leads all have writing on them. So somebody's been calling them for 3 weeks, right? And it says CB, call back 1 week, NA, not available, right? Whatever it was, VM, voicemail. So you're calling these leads, and the client picks up and they're like, this is the 9th time somebody's called me this week, and it's just screaming at you, right? So just kind of one of those boiler room call center environments. And it lit me up though, because I was like, okay, I can't play baseball anymore. I can't play sports anymore. Like, my college career is over in that regard. Like, I'm not going anywhere with this. This is my new sport. Let's see what happens. So we just started pounding the phone, right? And I got really, really good at it. By 25, I was running 65 straight commission salespeople. And we were, just cranking out sale after sale. So the salesperson would go out on the appointment, right? And it was mandatory that they called it into me. Okay. So they would get the client 60% of the way there, 70% of the way there. And then I would get on the phone and I'd have to close the deal. Now, make a long story short, when I came in for the interview at Club Colors, I had been getting stiff-armed because the company that I'm referring to, and I'm not going to say their name because I'm not giving them any promotion whatsoever, but they had a poor reputation based on the ownership team. Not the people, the ownership team, not the service, the ownership team. And that reputation was pretty sour. So I had been going on interviews and I was getting stiff-armed because they would get to that portion, which was the majority of my career. #1 rank, all-time sales leader, all-time executive sales leader, but they'd see the name of the company. They'd look up the name of the company and get stiff-armed. You could see their face change. Like, oh, you were #1 there. That means you're bad, right? So I get to the interview here, and Chris Tossi, who's co-CEO here, he flips down to the bottom of the page, and he goes, oh, you worked here? And I stood up, and I said, is the interview over? Because I thought it was. And he goes, no, I worked there at 19 years old. I used to write leads for people on the Atlantic coast, and they would call it into this guy, and he would just close everything. And he goes, my first paycheck was $3,000 for 1 week at 19. And he goes, I would write leads. And I said, so Atlantic coast, where were you writing? He goes, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York. So I rifled off 3 names. He goes, that's who I wrote for. How did you? I go, I was the guy. And I got hired on the spot.
This is meant to be. There's no doubt in my mind that was meant to be.
So then I go outside in the car and it's 10:18. Oh. Come on. It's a book. Done. It's a freaking book.
Yep. Wow.
So John, that's incredible story. Incredible story. And I know we need to get wrapped up, but so what would be within 30 seconds to a minute, what would you say is the thing that you would recommend to folks having now gone through this experience yourself? What would you recommend to the audience?
First off, be absolutely 100% authentically and vulnerably yourself. You were created that way, and let that baby rip. Let it rip. Be you. Be you, even if it's quirky, crazy, whatever. And if your company doesn't like you, you're at the wrong damn company.
There you go.
Find a place where you're going to be fully embraced and you can let it rip. I don't know about you, but I suck at being somebody else. I'm really freaking good at being me.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, that's my message to you. The person looking you back in the mirror is the best person that you can possibly be. Be every bit of it.
That's awesome.
You're the best, John. Yeah, he's I love it. I love it. Great job.
Steve, Megan, anything else to add?
No,
I just want to keep listening.
I know. I actually took notes, John. You're an incredible human being. I wish nothing but the absolute best for you. I want to keep following your story. John, where can people connect with you? On LinkedIn, TikTok? Tell the crowd where we can.
Absolutely. So first off, if you're not following me on LinkedIn, shame on you. Let's go. We're having a great time. And by the way, I don't just create content. What I do is I comment on all of your posts. I'm up till 1 a.m. in the morning. I will comment on your posts. I comment on 60 posts a day. Let's go. Second, If you haven't seen In the Club podcast, powered by Club Colors, it's on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Check it out. As soon as you're done watching the Industry Insider, you need to go to In the Club, powered by Club Colors. You need to watch their version, then my version, then their version, and you just switch back and forth, and you binge watch, and you'll have a very, very, very good life. You'll be super entertained, and you will have all the educational knowledge that you need to know about promotional products, branded solutions, and so on. So look, what are we doing out there if you're not getting in the game? By the way, if you haven't checked out our Club Colors page, please do so. We're doing goofy TikToks. Why? Because we're goofy people. So why not? Let's have fun. This is a fun industry. Have fun, for gosh sakes. This is not a commodity. This is we change lives. We put smiles on faces. Let's go.
Damn straight.
Hey, John, did you know Meg is a viral sensation on TikTok?
She is.
I heard.
Yeah.
I heard. I have to.
You got to go on and comment on hers.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, I'm blushing.
We'll save that story for another time.
I love
Yeah.
it.
All right. Well, look, all this podcast listening, between the Club Colors podcast and then the Industry Insider and flipping back and forth, you guys are going to be thirsty. So you're going to need a nice drinking vessel to hold your water, right? So look, Tervis is awesome. They've added stainless to their well-established line about 2 years ago with the goal of being better than the competition by utilizing state-of-the-art custom 360-degree UV printing. They're available in 4 different sizes, a 12-ounce, 20-ounce, 30-ounce, and also a 24-ounce water bottle. And now they've got 24, 30, and 40-ounce wide-mouth bottles, which is pretty awesome. 5-year warranty. They're 18.8 copper lined, vacuum insulated. They'll keep your drinks hot for 8 hours, keep them cold for 24 hours. You got to go check them out at tervispromos.com. Make sure you get yourself a good drinking vessel to listen to all these podcasts and stay hydrated. Listen, tell them the Industry Insider sent you. John, thank you so much, man. Really love the story. And so glad to have met you, and looking forward to seeing you in person down the road, man.
My pleasure. Tervis, that logo is off the hook. Come on.
Yeah.
How does that not make your brand pop?
It's nice.
It definitely makes it pop.
Talk about brand impressions. Let's go. Get in the game. Call Tervis.
That's
Good.
awesome. All right, guys. Really
Thanks
appreciate
so
it. We'll see you next time. And John, thanks again, man. Really appreciate you.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Promo Corner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit promocorner.com.